Welcome back to the WCA 2015 European Pro Qualifiers. Gamescom, you having a good time? It's a full house here at the WCA Arena. Gamescom live from Cologne, Germany. Our next game is Heroes of the Storm, and our two teams are household names when it comes to MOBA. We have Fnatic and Navi. Now these two teams faced each other yesterday in more of a fun match where we saw Murky get raffle stomped, really. But this is serious. We are in the upper bracket where the team that wins will move on to the finals. The team that loses will still stay in the tournament and will still go to China, but they will face the winner of the lower bracket in the consolation match later tomorrow. It's time for the match to begin. Let's get it started.
Welcome back, everybody, to WCA EU Pro Qualifier, and we have Navi versus Fnatic, and this time for real. We saw them go up against each other yesterday already, but of course they didn't want to show any strategy since they knew that today would be the oh-so important match. And we have them both starting with a game on Haunted Mines.
Yeah, and the Haunted Mines, not a map we see too often. We have seen it in this tournament, though. Both of these teams like to sneak it in every now and again, but seeing it as a first pick, and it was a Navi pick, is very interesting and very cool to see. So maybe sneaky strategies are ahead.
We can talk a bit about the map later, but let's talk about the bracket here. Navi versus Fnatic, as you could just see in the upper part of the bracket. And that means that the team who wins here already secured themselves the second spot of the tournament, and that is 6,000 euros that they can win here. Of course, they then still have a shot to go to China, which is the goal of all of the teams that are currently still in the qualifier. But this match is extremely important. As Sludge already mentioned, our host, we have the losing team still with an opportunity to reach the first spot. They can go through the losers bracket, but of course you want to win this match and make sure that are already safe and secure in the grand final.
Yep, and the draft has now begun, so we're going to head straight into that and see what kind of compositions these teams will be picking for the very first game on the Haunted Mines. First pick belonging to Navi, and an instant ban on the Kerrigan.
I don't blame them here. They know that Bubi is an extremely good Kerrigan player. Bubi was the former coach of Navi. He switched to Fnatic into a player role, and he played Kerrigan several times in the recent past on this map in particular, and he is just phenomenally good on the hero. We have a Zagara ban by Fnatic. She's just she's such a good hero. She can push the lanes, she can do so much damage in the early game, especially with the Hunter Killer. On 16 she gets twice the charges, and that is of course worth a lot, especially in the early stages when you have those mines opening up and the teams are trying to snowball.
And Navi starting off their first pick with an Arthas here. Now this is very out of the ordinary from what we see, but we have to remember, like you said, we have former coaches, former players from both teams. There's going to be some next level trying to outdraft, out-mind game their opponents here.
And Arthas is actually a great tank for this map. In particular, when you can play him together with Kerrigan, which in this case is not possible, you just have that lockdown. So Arthas with the Howling Blast and also with his own aura is trying to slow down the approach of the opponent, can lock them down. There can be a stun follow-up with the potential Tyrande, for example. He also loves to be played with a Jaina, but as expected, Fnatic is securing the strong Ice Mage hero for themselves, and they also lock down Uther, which allows them to go into a melee assassin if they want to, and we all know that they are especially good on Illidan.
Yeah, they're especially good on a lot of the melee assassins, in fact, so running the Uther gives them a lot of options. Navi once again picking up a tank with the Muradin, which is a good way to maybe deal with that potential melee assassin, and the Malfurion as their healer.
Yeah, especially if you think about how they played in the past with Johanna and Leoric being the big backbone of their army, but now they're going into two completely different tanks, and both of them have a lockdown. Arthas with the Howling Blast, we talked about it, and we have also Muradin with that Stormbolt, so they can really lock a target down here. They have the root on Malfurion as well, so already a lot of control for Navi.
Yeah, and these two, like you said, warriors are incredible at the control against melee assassins. Like we said, potential for Fnatic to pick a melee assassin here, but if they do dive in, they're going to have to go through the Frozen Waste from Arthas, which is going to be a slow, the potential slow from the Thunderclap from the Muradin, and the attack speed slow from his Reverberation talent. So any melee assassin is going to have a bit of an issue really getting into that backline.
Fnatic, they want to play Illidan here, but they need to ban an hero out first, and Navi does not have any range damage secured for themselves just yet. So Fnatic has to think about, okay, what is really the one hero that we don't want to deal with? Do we want to run against the Kel'Thas that can in the late game then snowball? Do we want to ban him out? Do we just ban out a hero like Vala? It of course means that they have to think about what they want to pick themselves next. They are still missing the tank, they're still missing a melee assassin if they want to play Illidan, but they also need to secure themselves another hero that can reach some range damage. They could play only with a Jaina, but another damage dealer would definitely help them to break through that front line.
Yeah, and melee or ranged would do for that job. And Fnatic, like you exactly said, they do not want to deal with that Kael'thas in the late game, so ban it out. And that means they are the only team that's going to be playing with one of those high damage burst mages, so they need to focus extra hard on protecting her.
We could see Baron Nubarak, and well, there it is. It is just a great hero with Web Blast against the Tranquility from Malfurion. A lot of what Malfurion can really bring to the table is in his heroic ability when he uses Tranquility, but the Web Blast of Nubarak can shut that down early on, and that's exactly the reason why Nubarak is being banned out here. They don't want to deal with it, and as expected, Fnatic lectures themselves some range damage in form of Vala, which is a great addition to the Jaina that they already have. They still have an opportunity though to play an Illidan together with a tank, or they can go for a double tank line.
Yeah, and picking up the Valor right now is still very good for them in the way that not only are they getting that extra range damage, they're also picking yet another option away from Na'Vi, as, like you said, they still have yet to pick their range damage dealer, so banning the Kael'thas, picking the Valor, they are limiting the options of Na'Vi to quite a few, let's say, mobility-impaired heroes.
The cool thing about this map as being the first map is that both teams feel it's one of their best maps. Fnatic was talking yesterday about it. They expected Na'Vi to ban it out, since Fnatic has such a good track record on Haunted Mines. Na'Vi, on the other hand, has practiced this map a lot in the recent past. So both of the teams just saying, alright, this is where we're going to start our victory. And Fnatic takes Leoric, a great hero, especially for the first mine phase. Oftentimes you see him even banned out on this map, because at the beginning he's so strong, he doesn't have to go back to the Nexus once that he dies, but he will stay at the position where he died, can still move, and of course in the mine phase when those revive counts are still very, very low, this is an extremely important asset to have for your team.
Yeah, that and the fact, and his skeletal swing pretty much one-shots the little skeleton minions that you pick up the skulls from, which is pretty effective. And it is strange that we usually see Leoric in a double tank lineup, but there is still potential for Fnatic to run a melee assassin with this and just rely on Leoric for their tankiness, but they're going to be short a bit of CC.
I really want to see what Na'Vi's going to do now, because they still have an Azebo that they can rely upon, but when it comes to range damage, there's not too many options now. We still have a Sylvanas, which can be strong on this map, but I'm not quite sure if that's really going to be enough for them. If they want to push, it would be a great hero for them to have, but they could also still consider a melee assassin. We've seen that several times in the past. A double warrior plus a melee assassin can really do a whole lot of work. Of course, they need at least one range damage dealer, and I guess the Azebo is a strong option for them. But still, they are running out of a few options, since a lot of the heroes are already picked by either Fnatic or banned out by them.
Yeah, Nazebo would be an option for them, so would be Falstad, just for that extra range damage, and he's one of the few heroes with range left that has the mobility to get away from the huge amount of slows coming out from Leoric and Jaina.
You could think about Tyrande here, but the problem with Tyrande is that she does not bring enough damage to the table. She has that immense lockdown that helps not only Muradin but also Arthas to just secure maybe a kill, but you need to get some damage into. There's that Sylvanas, so they still decide to go for the hero that has just so many push capabilities, especially on a map like Haunted Mines, when you have to fight against the opponent's golem. The last pick, on the other hand, is it going to be an Azebo, or are they running a different hero here?
We are about to find out. The potential for a melee assassin is still there. With Malfurion, it will be hard to protect them.
We have seen a couple of Tychus plays on this map, so there are other options for them. If they really feel that they need more damage and that they can protect the Tychus, they could try and use him here. In the recent past, the hero has popped up every now and then. We had in the latest patch a bit of an adjustment to him, so now he has a bigger range on his auto attack, which helps him a lot to stay safe in these fights. But they go for that melee assassin that we talked about earlier. They go into a triple melee composition with a double warrior at the front line and the Illidan in the midst.
And with all three of those melees in the front line, Illidan is going to be focused, but the two warriors can protect him with a bit of CC, and that may give Malfurion enough time to keep him healthy, keep him healed up.
Talking about two warriors, Fnatic with a potential Johanna here. Definitely a hero that they could pick now. They might have been thinking about it Illidan themselves. We've seen Leoric occasionally played as a solo tank, but oftentimes he will still be found in double tank compositions, and a Johanna might be the pick that they're looking for. There's of course also a Tyrael out there that they could take, but with a Johanna they would have two heroes that are very good at pushing back the lanes and also at securing skulls and the mines.
Johanna also another one of those heroes that is quite good against an Illidan, just continuously disrupting him, keeping him from landing those auto attacks and resetting those cooldowns.
That shield glare also really helpful, but they go into an ETC. Whoa! They are throwing out the gauntlet right there, an ETC in the game, and that's an interesting touch. Now all of a sudden we have a potential mosh pit here. and this is going to be extremely good. I'm definitely ready for this one. Not quite the hero that I expected. We've seen him occasionally on this map in particular, but the last time that I've seen him, he was destroyed.
This is true. I believe I was casting that game with you, and the ETC did not. It was against an Asmodan, and it did stop him farming, but he still died all the time.
But the ETC was played as a solo tank in this case.
Very true.
One of the things that we've been talking about since ETC got major changes is that he still feels like a utility tank that you can add into a double tank setup. It's just interesting to see that they're running this together with the Leoric. Leoric is oftentimes the second tank that you bring in because he offers utility with all the lane push, but they are just deciding that they will run two of them, and if they can keep ETC safe, if they can get that mosh pit in, that will be all that they need. I mean, a mosh pit together with the Jaina and also a Vala who could use a Strafe, a Rain of Vengeance, it doesn't really matter too much. That would be so much damage on one spot that it's really difficult to deal with.
And one of the small advantages, just a little extra one, is ETC's trait, the Rockstar. So every time he does cast an ability, he is going to be giving that Vala a little bit of extra attack speed just so he can land her damage.
And we are starting over the game here on Haunted Mines. Ladies and gentlemen, to the left side of the map, it is Na'Vi! Shrimpy for the team on HotS. We have Alex the Progi on Murid in the double tank line. JPL on Sylvanas. Illidan played by Eternal here, and Splendor on Malfurion to the right side of the map. It is, of course, their opponent in this first game in the best of 3 series. It is Fnatic! Mena on Uther, we have Wooby on Vala, ETC is played by Breeze, Lowell on Leoric, and Kaysil jumped on Jaina. So this is going to be the first map, and we have Haunted Mines here, so a very aggressive map usually, and I can't wait to see which team is able to take the first game.
Breeze starting to push in, Stormbolt just skims, does not land on Lowell there. So we're going to see both teams just begin to move out to lanes as neither one wants to dive into the other yet. We do see a reach coming out from the Uther, and we've been seeing a lot of Conjurer's pursuits lately.
Fnatic is currently trying to figure out where exactly that Sylvanas is positioned, because normally what you want to do on this map in particular is try and go for your own golem lane. You push the lane where your own golem is positioned because that helps you to reach the core faster and put pressure on it. But when you're up against the Sylvanas, you have to rotate towards the Sylvanas lane. The way that we're seeing their play for Na'Vi on the other hand though is that they have Sylvanas currently on basically a solo lane with Eternal jumping in on Illidan to put some pressure onto Lowell. So they have to constantly rotate and find out where Na'Vi wants to push.
Both teams, in fact, running with quite a few roamers, just looking for any kind of gank opportunity. Shrimpy attempting to catch Robbie there, but Robbie able to dodge away. And now we're going to see a Fnatic here moving in to Na'Vi's jungle to try and take their watchtower. They're just going to neutralize it, not going to capture it there because it would be too dangerous.
And currently we're seeing also with the wind taken on the side of Sylvanas, not going into that barb shot, which is amazing talent for Tomb of the Spider Queen, but it can also be used on Haunted Mines since it affects the boss and the golems as well. And we have Vala with a Q build here, and the level 1 talent, of course, rolling like a stone on ETC. The power slide talents are just too strong for the hero to pass up upon.
Yeah, and it also synergizes incredibly well with his heroic, and that's what they're really going to want to land in those team fights. If they can catch the Illidan or maybe the Malfurion in that, then it's going to be devastating.
And talking about the team fights, we have a 5-man setup for Na'Vi at the bot lane. Fnatic is here with 4. They still have Leoric up at the top. They want to get a slight experience lead. But now Leoric is in the mines, and Fnatic is starting to pull a 2-arc here, moving around to capture as many of the camps as possible and not even trying to fight. What is Fnatic going to do? They move through the bot entrance. Leoric is up at the top. He isn't really afraid of dying here. But we have Na'Vi now starting to move up against Fnatic as they sync up, and now it's a 5 versus 5.
Yeah, both teams now trying to zone out the others. Fnatic with the slightly better position here as they can try and trap a couple members of Na'Vi away from the exit. And that's what we're going to do. Breeze separating out the team there. But this does give Na'Vi a very good concave. The root lands onto Jaina. She's getting focused out. But Illidan's the first to die. Kessel follows shortly after. Muradin dropping as well.
And they go straight for Shrimpy. Na'Vi's in a bit of trouble. Fnatic is trying to follow it up with another kill. They go for HotS. They're not taking him down just yet, but up at the top, the chase continues. Shrimpy with a great Howling Blast. And those last 2 shots from Wooby did not reach HotS in time. Great fight here in the bot lane.
Yeah, Fnatic coming out quite a bit ahead there, but they are still behind in skulls, with Na'Vi having 30 to Fnatic's 20. But Fnatic have full control of the mines, but they're going to lose Vala up in the top lane. due to that very nice root from Malfurion.
That's exactly what we've been talking about during the draft. If you have not only that Howling Blast, but also the Stormbolt of Muradin, and you combo that together with the Malfurion and his roots, you have so much lockdown that if you capture a target somewhere on the map, you can just blow it to pieces, and that's exactly what they did here. Very well played by Na'Vi. They are going for boss now, and Fnatic is currently not even trying to contest it. They're finally moving back into the mines, but they might be a bit too late.
ETC coming in, he could possibly power slide and face melt to knock him away from the skulls, but decides against it. Instead, they are looking for kills, but the slow coming in from Alex the Pro G might start off happening. The Stormbolt as well, just giving his team so much time to escape. There's the route onto Jaina. Wubby, the only one here, but he has no CC of his own. ETC does get Muradin here and traps him away from the exit. Muradin can't dwarf toss, and down he goes.
Really well played here. It's also Breeze waiting with that face melt before, like he was fully aware that there was a chance that Muradin still has that Dwarf Tosser, has it up again, tries to jump away, and he was waiting with that Felsman until he was 100% certain that they would get their kill. Very well secured here. Level 4 talents, of course, on the map now for both of the teams, with the Destruction on Arthas for the extra damage on his Frostburn trait. And we are seeing the double neck guitar, which is an amazing talent. It combos so well with the level 1 talent that he took there. So Power Slide is all that really matters for him. Snowstorm even taken on the side of Jaina, and that is an important talent to take here too. So very crisp builds, at least thus far, from both of the teams, with especially Muradin focusing more into a Reverberation build. And he could have gone into a Stormbolt, I suppose, but it makes sense, I feel, with that Vala to also make sure that those auto attacks are not going to wreck them too hard.
Could not agree more. Na'Vi pushing into the bot lane. That wider radius Snowstorm on the Blizzard, like you did say, really useful there.
A little bit of a misstep here, apparently, by Na'Vi not taking those Siege Giants at the perfect time. So they go down very early in the defense at the bot lane. We are still seeing the ones of Fnatic perfectly positioned here behind the gate. So Na'Vi with a slight misplay.
Yes, so the boss Fnatic will do quite a bit more damage than it otherwise might have. Boss Na'Vi going down in the top lane. Boss Fnatic, will it get the tower? It's getting very close. One more auto. Come on, no, so close.
Not quite. So we have a fully destroyed wall against one where the tower is still there. But it doesn't matter too much. We have those two Siege Giants still at the bot lane pushing for Fnatic, and that of course creates a potential dangerous situation now for Na'Vi. Both of the teams are on level 7, where we have the unstable poison for Sylvanas. It's also the repeating arrow for Vala, which is quite important here. Lingering Apparition and Hardened Bones for Leoric, and we have the loudspeakers with the increased range and the knockback on the side of ETC. So a lot of control during those fights now by Breeze.
Yeah, Breeze also has just massively increased his gank potential. He can move in, get that really nice knockback, and try and trap someone like JPL, for example, way away from his team. Speaking of JPL, him, Eternal, and Alex the Pro G are just pushing this top lane a hard lull, moving back behind his towers, but with Breeze here, he will be able to hold.
One of the things that I still want to point out is that we have on level 7 for both of our healers Cleanse taken, an incredibly important talent, but it also means that Malfurion gave up on the idea of using, for example, a Mule or going into the Enduring Growth. Two amazing talents as well. So especially for Malfurion in this case, it was a pretty tough choice what to go for here. There's a lot of stuff that you have to give up to use that Cleanse, so it's going to be a crucial talent for them in those fights.
The Cleanse is a huge deal, like you said. ETC, if he comes in, you have to cleanse, say, your Illidan, if that's who is engaged, to keep him alive, because ETC will lock him down. Stormbolt from Alex the Pro G does land, slowing down the roam of Fnatic, but they do still get up with the Cleanse instantly, though, like we said.
And they're going for the Schwimpy down. Great snipe from Fnatic. It allows them to move into the mid lane to take the Bruiser camp. The level 10s are soon going to appear for both of the teams, and it's so important right now, especially when we are going to see that mosh pit on the side of ETC. Then he has to make sure that he captures that Muradin. And also, of course, the Sylvanas with the Wailing Arrow is going to be another problem. There is a chance that he does not take mosh pit, though, but it's still the talent that you would expect in such a situation.
Yeah, mosh pit would be great here. If he can catch Muradin so he doesn't get stormbolted out of it, it would be beautiful. The stage dive might be good for trying to catch the retreating members of Na'Vi, and it is going to be the mosh pit, like we said. Divine Storm on the Uther as well, adding to the stun train.
It's getting a lot more popular right now, especially with Fnatic not going for the Divine Shield as often as they did before. There is, of course, the potential of Na'Vi locking a hero down and trying to burst him, but in general, they don't really seem too afraid of it. And let's just face it, Illidan, when he jumps in, he hates Divine Storm, and for a very good reason. He doesn't really care too much about a target being Divine Shield, and then he just waits another second and jumps in again. But another stun that can really dish out some damage and make make sure that he is not going to get a second chance and dies.
March of the Black King on Leoric, a huge potential wombo here for Fnatic, and they are waiting for it. They're not trying to take seats here, they're just waiting for the opportunity. Leoric taking a little bit of damage, but is able to push back Muradin and Schwimpy.
Yeah, Arthas took Syndragosa. Captain Hitsugaya would be very proud here. We're also having the Wailing Arrow and, of course, Tranquility. In they go again. They're trying to go for Arthas. He is down. JPL tries to jump away, gets locked out. Double kill for Fnatic. They are in a great position right now. Jumping in once again, trying to hunt Eternal. They go for it, and Moshpit is there, and they get everybody. Here comes the Blizzard, and only Muradin trying to escape.
He is in his avatar form, will get out the mines, and Fnatic are not going to let him go. Well, yeah, they are. Wobby just going for the minion wave. The rest of Fnatic going for the boss, and they're going to be able to take that down, giving themselves a way stronger goal, and they already have 56 skulls.
Fnatic and Na'Vi, they both thought that this would be their map. Na'Vi showing no respect for the track record of Fnatic on this map here in particular. Haunted Mines was a playground for Fnatic in the last few weeks, but Na'Vi, they practiced the map, they practiced it a lot, and they felt strong. But currently they're falling behind. 8 kills against 2. That Illidan not coming through just yet, and a solid lead here in experience, but especially when it comes to the skulls, Fnatic taking the lead.
Can we just talk about that mosh pit for a second? That was the perfect escape block.
Great.
Incredible positioning from Breeze there.
So much patience also, not trying to use it any earlier. He realized, all right, we're going to snipe 1 or 2 heroes before something happens, and then when everybody tried to retreat, he power slides in, uses that mosh pit, locks all of them down. They get a double kill and find themselves just in a glorious position here. And now they push with the boss up at the top. If you have an 86 skull golem, you want to do damage.
Na'Vi coming in here, trying to get something. They will get Wubby. No, Wubby retreating into the enemy base. Sylvanas giving chase. Rain of Vengeance. Wubby's going to die to Envenom though, unless he can find something to lifesteal off of, but the camp's already gone. Yeah,
Bala down, and so is Jaina. Uther also in trouble. He's trying to escape through the mines. Menes on the run, but he's hunted down by Eternal and Schwimpy. Nice defense here. Really good trap by Na'Vi. That was actually very well played here. Now they all of a sudden have the opportunity to defend against the boss, but that was a solid gank that they had. They said, boys, we have to go in right now. We have to jump them before the boss is there. They flanked, and that initiation with the silence on Sylvanas was perfect.
Yeah, Syndragosa into Wailing Arrow, one of the best executed ganks I have seen. Lol, now dueling with Eternal, and this is a matchup that Leoric does win, and Eternal has to back up. It's very hard to lane at all as an Illidan against a Leoric.
Yeah, Illidan immediately with the F, this moves back and goes straight for the well. Lol moving in, and he's getting some help. Kazel and Wubby both riding in on their money picks, trying to help out, and 2 of the towers are already gone. Level 13, faster for Fnatic. They have the extra talent, and Vala goes into a hybrid build with a giant killer, trying to put some pressure on Arthas and Muradin in this game now. With a Shrink Ray against Illidan, great talents right now, especially on Uther. I mean, this Divine Storm and then also the Shrink Ray. This is exactly what he needs to make sure that Illidan does not completely destroy them.
ETC with the Face Smelt. Face Smelt gives an 80% fading slow over 2 seconds, and that could be beautiful. Once again, increasing Breeze's gank potential. Level 13, finally hit by Na'Vi, the Relentless on the Arthas. A well-picked talent, I believe.
Yeah, definitely something that they need here. It's not only that, it's also that, I mean, we have a spell shield on Sylvanas. So Sylvanas just saying, hey, listen, Jaina, I do not want to eat this much damage from just a simple blizzard or something. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen in those fights. Gives up, of course, one of the speed talents that she has here, but we're now also having the Ice Block on Malfurion. No heal talents. Not on level 7, not on level 13, relying heavily now on Tranquility in the fights.
Tranquility is a beautiful ability though, can just drop so much healing, and they may be able to make that work in the fight. The Spell Shield on the Sylvanas are also working on the Hungering Arrows from Vala, so that could be very nice, because the less damage those arrows do, the less healing Vala will get from it.
In general, Fnatic still ahead. They are had an experience, even if not by much, and they also have taken down the fort up at the top lane. So the boss is already in a bit of a better position, but down to the bottom lane, we're currently seeing that the fort is also only roughly 25% of itself. And maybe Na'Vi even moving in to take it down. The mines are going to open up in another 17 seconds, and it looks like we are going to see a rotation through the mines by Na'Vi. Sylvanas is rushing away, and Fnatic is entering already, so the teams are going to meet here again.
Yeah, Na'Vi completely cancelling their roam over to the other side there, realizing Sylvanas was nowhere near them, and are now going to run into the entirety of Fnatic. Sylvanas has now entered the mines, is with her team, so we could see another quick skirmish here. Breeze getting the knockback onto Schwimpy, delaying it. In comes the Syndragosa, though.
Syndragosa moving in, LoL already rotating back. They dodged the Syndragosa. That's one ult down already. Not the best use of Schwimpy in this case. He didn't catch anybody. And now Fnatic just moving back, waiting for another opportunity to jump in.
Yeah, Breeze and LoL leading the charge here. Both of them looking for a chance to lock someone or maybe everyone down. And the route from Malfurion does slow down LoL a bit, but he's still able to roll in here. Breeze being very cautious about when he uses power slide. Does get murdered here, though.
And they immediately jump for him. Water Elemental is already in play. The Wailing Arrow came through, but in the backline it is Malfurion with a quick tranquility. Their stun lock Bombala. Once, twice, it's two. They take down Illidan. They go for HotS, and they annihilate him. JBL jumps over the wall, and now it's Splinter's time to die.
Mosh Pit into Rain of Vengeance is so hard to deal with. Down goes the Sylvanas, and now we're seeing Malfurion. You're having to use his Ice Block, but there's no way he's getting out of here. Completely surrounded. Power slide from Breeze locks him down. Alex Pro D finds Wubby, though. Is going to try and duel him here.
Yeah, Alex is there, but the team is rotating again. That's a free kill in the waiting. He's trying to mount up, but it's already too late. Kai'Sa from the other side, and goodbye Muradin. It's a team wipe and level 16 now for Fnatic.
Vala backing up as she is a bit short on mana. The rest of Fnatic moving up to the Grave Golem again. Going to take that and get what is going to be an 84 skull Grave Golem.
Yeah, a double imposing presence. Enjoy the rest of the game, Illidan. So that is directly an attack against him. Gauntlet is thrown. Illidan is not going to have a lot of fun in the rest of the match. And considering that they have actually 3 melee heroes, a double imposing presence is just amazing for them to take here. Great move by Fnatic. Very good talent choices for them. Benediction on Uther, of course, a bit of a no-brainer here. And so is the Northern exposure that we're seeing on Jaina. So they can burst the target down even faster. And with the 64 skull Golem, they should be able to make quite some work up at the top lane.
Vala also with the Blood for Blood, when using that on either the Arthas, who's one of the tankiest heroes in the game, or the Muradin once he pops his avatar, she is going to get a huge chunk of health back. And Fnatic moving up to push with the 64 skull Golem.
Fnatic looking extremely strong, and well, LoL already said in an interview yesterday that he thinks in a few weeks, when they've been able to spend some time in the team house together, they are going to crush everyone. But at this point, it looks like their time might have come already. They move in up at the top lane together with the boss. They want to go for the wall kill, maybe even a keep.
Roots did come down to LoL there, but he just stood there and took it. Continuing to push here, just tanking all of this CC. In comes the power slide. The root from the boss does not land on Alex.
Last second jump here by Muradin. The level 16 talents are here with a cold embrace, with a hardened focus, with the stone skin. Arthur super tanky now. He tries to move in. LoL with the Wraith Walk, moving away though as the boss is still wailing down on that key, trying to drop it.
Breeze does have his Mosh Pit ready, so he may look to try and move in here. In comes the Syndragosa. Na'Vi wants to go in first. Wailing Arrow lands onto Jaina, but she ice blocks it.
The Mosh Pit already cancelled at the same time. That's jumping in again. And they have the stun lock against Illidan. He's down already, and they're going in with another Rain of Vengeance. Mosh Pit is ready, another second. Once more, he can go in. Where's the ATC? There he is. He gets it down, and it's another double kill. Everybody dead. Only Muradin running. Fnatic, they don't care about Alex at all. They go for core and try to end the game.
Muradin has been back to base. It is up to him alone, but with the boss still alive, he's not going to be able to do it. This looks like the end, and game number 1 will go over to Fnatic.
Oh my god, Fnatic once again on Haunted Mines. I can guarantee you this map is going to be banned out against them in the future. Fnatic, they take it, GG! And they take the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series.
What a game by Fnatic. They're pulling out the ETC, who we haven't seen in a while, and the one time we did see it, got completely face rolled and uses it incredibly. Those mosh pits were on point.
Really well played here by Breeze, and of course the patience that he had also to just use them. In the last fight it actually got cancelled before it even dropped, and therefore he had another 7-second cooldown on it, but they just waited. Vala with Wubi in this case, like that ultimate, that Rain of Vengeance, locking down 2, they got a kill off there immediately, and again the same situation that we saw before in the mines, moving back, and this kid right here moves in, tries to prevent them from running away, drops that mosh pit, and they get a triple kill off it. Really well played here. Fnatic in this case, absolutely dominant. This is definitely their map.
Yes, it is, but It is not a best-of-1 series, so they cannot win off just the mines alone. The next map is going to be Dragonshire, and we'll have to see if they can have a repeat performance. You can see him now discussing strategy, discussing anything that happened in that game.
This is going to be really good. I mean, Mines already, it was so aggressive, and at the same time, Fnatic, for the longest time, they really expected the map to be banned out against them. They are very strong on Haunted Mines, and they banned other maps out, so they wanted to play this. And, well, yesterday, actually, they talked about it a lot, and they mentioned that Na'Vi was practicing this map over and over again and felt really strong there. So this was basically a test of the two teams just saying, all right, we're going to pick a map where we both think we are better than you. And in this case, Fnatic proves to be right. They take the first game, but we've all seen how dominant Na'Vi played, not only against teams like Team Liquid, but others as well. So they have a really good shot at coming back into the series. But what a game. I mean, we have so many good teams here, and it's just incredible. I mean, these games are awesome, especially between the two teams that we see here now.
Yeah, and on the map subject again, we did ask Na'Vi about why they didn't ban it out, and their response was, well, we have worst maps. So this is one that may have just got through just due to apathy, but it was their first pick as well.
And you could already see Alex there. He was not really happy with that last game. He was actually playing Muradin the entire time and able to escape out of most of these situations. But for them, it got really tricky there. Muradin as an escape, that doesn't really work for them. They could just not stop the ETC. It was a constant threat. They had an amazing ambush up at the top when Fnatic, for the first time, they secured themselves elite in skulls. So they kind of negated that. Could have been even worse for them, but after level 10, after level 13, Fnatic won team fight after team fight, and there was just nothing that Na'Vi could do about this. The team control and the fights themselves were just always in favor of Fnatic.
Fnatic, just outstanding. Na'Vi not going to want that to happen again. And like we said, next map is going to be Dragonshire, and Na'Vi have been known to also run some interesting comps on this particular map.
Dragonshire is one of the maps where they really love to play that Johanna and Leoric composition, where they just try to push the top lane, and it's going to be interesting to see how exactly they're going to use this, and also, of course, if they will get the chance to pick up Leoric. Is maybe Fnatic going to pick Leoric away? Are they going to ban him out? I could definitely see that happening. It's one of those maps where great lane control is going to give you an edge.
Yeah, and the draft has begun here, getting underway. Na'Vi with the first pick and first ban.
So at this point, it's really, I mean, there's several drafts or several things that you can prepare on this map. Always a Jaina, of course, very strong, sometimes even banned out. A Zagara, on the other hand, is also a hero that we could see banned out and picked early on. But as mentioned before, Na'Vi is a team that, especially on maps like Dragonshire and like Tomb of the Spider Queen, they really favor Leoric. Are they going to pick him? Is Fnatic maybe going to try and ban him out or pick him away? We have the ban on Jaina already, and Fnatic should repeat, like, they should actually go for that Zeratul ban. But we've seen a few teams start to move away from that a bit and say, like, hey, we would rather deal with the Zeratul than with one of your combinations that you used throughout the last few weeks.
Yeah, and it's not Zeratul's best map, the Haunted Mines, but he wasn't banned there at all or picked there. This map, though, a much better one for him. He is banned out by Fnatic.
And as mentioned, that Zagara is just amazing on this map. So Na'Vi, they pick Zagara, they can put it to the top lane and push that in. And for Fnatic, what's it going to be? Are we going to see that Leoric early on for them? Of course, an Uther early on would allow them to maybe go into, again, that Illidan, or at least make sure that if Na'Vi is trying to play a melee assassin, they do not have that Divine Shield to work with. And so far, Uther is actually a hero that they seem to rely upon a lot. If they play against an Illidan, they just go into the Divine Storm instead of the Divine Shield, so they adjust to the situation. I'm really liking this. I kind of expect from them to play the Uther earlier as well, but when it comes to their first pick here, damage would be something that we would still expect.
Yeah, we've spoken to death about the versatility of picking an Uther in your first wave, but I agree, damage is definitely on the table. For Fnatic, they don't want to give Na'Vi all the first picks on that, as they already have the Zagara.
Like a Leoric for the lane push, maybe a Johanna, making sure that you secure yourself a very strong lane presence on one of the lanes. Leoric is actually even a hero that can deal with Zagara to a certain extent up at the top lane, so she won't be able to pressure the lane in the entire match. So that's one of the things that he definitely can do. But of course, and there he is, Leoric is being picked, and now we could see that Uther, but instead of the Uther, a second pick Kerrigan. What just happened?
Well, what happened is it was banned out last game, and Wubby really wants to play Kerrigan.
Okay, this is going to be good. Of course, the one thing that you can do, you know what they're going to do here? They're going to park the Leoric up at the top lane, trying to counter Zagara, and then they're going to roam between the mid and the bot lane with 4 heroes and trying to put the Kerrigan to some use. Navi's picks here, I mean, that's a no-brainer right now. What else are you going to do? Of course you're going to pick that Uther away from the Karrigan. Divine Shielded Karrigan, you might as well commit suicide. That's just not going to happen. You have to ban her out or you have to pick her. And they take also the Johanna away from the earlier composition. But they know that they might be in trouble here.
It is now the ban phase as well, so Na'Vi can ban out that other healer that we see all the time protecting the melee assassin, the Rhaegar.
Yeah, they can do that. Fnatic could actually even think about, if Rhaegar is being banned out, to maybe go into a Tassadar there in the later stages. It depends, of course, on the other heroes that they're going to go for now. But they already committed to that Karrigan play. And when they picked the Karrigan, they knew for a fact that they would not get that Uther. They knew what happened there. So they must have a plan. They must feel safe enough to say, our Karrigan is going to reign supreme, even without the support of Uther.
Yeah, but even with Malfurion, maybe... And I'm going to go out and win here, maybe just combining it with the Tyrande for that extra bit of healing and more stun follow-up, so they could get a very nice wombo combo off of that.
Fnatic waiting for a long time with their ban here. They could ban out some damage. They could also think about banning out a second, a second tank that we could see. The Muradin, yeah, it is.
Yeah, and they're running the melee assassin, so banning out the Muradin, it makes a huge amount of sense. Johanna's already in the game, so you can't ban her out with her blind. Muradin with the reverberation, the other hero, warrior-wise, that really counters out melee assassins.
Yeah, Na'Vi have now to think about, all right, what are they going to play? What are they going to try and get? What would be the best thing for them to use together with that Karrigan? And lockdown is really what you need here. There is once again the option that Fnatic decides to go into a hero like ETC again. The mage is banned out though, so we're having in this case Na'Vi going for bans on Jaina on Kel'Thas. So that's the late gate damage they're taking away from Fnatic, saying, yes, your Karrigan is very, very strong in the early stages of the game, and we want to make sure that Kel'Thas is not going to make up for the a little bit weaker late game of the hero with that Ignite Flame Strike. So Fnatic now with their 2 picks, and I'm super excited about this one. I mean, the Rhaegar wasn't banned out, so in this case they should probably go for that Rhaegar over Malfurion, especially if they expect their opponent to go straight for Karrigan.
There is the Valor coming out from Fnatic, giving them their first range damage dealer to counteract that Zagara from Na'Vi there, and we saw it in the last game. It was very, very strong.
Yeah, it was extremely effective, and there's not too much range attack on the field now. They could have gone for an Inzevo, but Vala is just a bit more direct with the amount of damage that she dishes out. The Kel'Thas is banned, the Jaina is banned. What else are you going to go for? Those are really the 2 characters that make the most sense for them, and using that now in the game is just exactly what they need.
So, just waiting for Fnatic to make their pick here. And while we are waiting for them, let's have a look at this composition of Na'Vi. They do also have the possibility to go into their melee assassin, and maybe for them, we could be seeing maybe a Butcher on this map, or something similar, as the Illidan is also still open, so potential for that too.
In theory, they could definitely do that. I mean, there is not too much they could lock him out if they take a Tyrande as well. One of the heroes, by the way, that we haven't seen yet, and I don't think we're going to see him in this patch or in this draft in particular, is the Abathur. Abathur hasn't been picked here. We have seen him on this map. Team Liquid actually played him just yesterday against Alternate Fancy, trying to use that Abathur together with the Leoric. And Fnatic has still not picked a second tank. So either they go into maybe an Abathur, or they're going to run that ETC again.
Quite possibly, or they could even run the single tank. Obviously, we don't see it very often because the Yorick lacks the hard CC, but they do have the Kerrigan for some hard CC on their side, so maybe just go for a lot of burst with the Kerrigan as their engager.
And I guess let's not forget about Arthas. He also showed up in the last game, and he is still a very solid tank here. Na'Vi, they also need a bit more damage. Zagara alone is just not going to do the trick here, so they need to add something else to their composition. We've been talking about the potential to maybe even throw a Tyrande in the mix. The issue with this is, though, that then they couldn't add a second tank, because Tyrande, she needs a bit more damage. Her alone is not going to be what they need here. So maybe we're also going to see Na'Vi go into something completely different. We've seen them in the past with Vikings. It might be one of the heroes that they're thinking about now. We haven't seen any big specialists like Vikings or, of course, Abathur taken yet. But there is the Anubarak, and that's, of course, also going to be very good to counteract Kerrigan.
Yeah, can either Web Blast the Kerrigan or the Rhaegar to prevent that Ancestral Healing from coming down. Both very viable options here. Na'Vi, they also need an extra bit of damage.
Yeah, they still need some damage here. I mean, of course, there's a Nazebo, right? You could go for a Nazebo in this case, could try to use him here. On a map like this, there's also the Falstad to consider, which can be very strong. The problem with Falstad is then again that you can really burst him down quite fast. They still take him though. He needs to be super careful because that Kerrigan is going to be on his ass all game long. If Falstad just once misses his barrel roll, he is going to be dead. And Fnatic decides to play Leoric as the single tank, and oh boy, they once again have that double melee assassins.
Yeah, and we do love seeing the double melee assassins coming in from them. There is, though, like we said, the Anubrak on the other team and the Johanna both have the potential of an imposing presence later in the game, so this late game could be pretty interesting.
This is definitely going to be a very interesting game. At this point, what Fnatic really tries to do, of course, is also to gain some momentum. They're going to try and jump in, get the momentum going here. It's what they really need, because if you run those two melee assassins and you fall behind and they are not doing the damage, then you're just going to be picked apart. I don't envy Falstad in this game, to be honest with you. Like, he has to jump away from Illidan, he has to make sure that Kerrigan doesn't get the lockdown against him, then there's the range damage dealers as well. Falstad is going to have a very, very painful game. Then again, if he stays alive, if they can't chase him down, then the chances of Na'Vi are going to be absolutely amazing here.
Yeah, if Falstad can stay alive, it's going to be pretty spectacular for them. He does have that barrel roll ability for the escape, and sometimes when we see melee attack Falstad, we on the odd occasion see that extra range on the barrel roll to give him that little extra escape.
Of course, you also have some support here. The Divine Shield on Uther is basically guaranteed in a situation like this. I suppose they could try and go into the Divine Storm instead, but they have two melee assassins against them, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to lock both of them down with one single Divine Storm. It's a very aggressive build I received from Fnatic, and they feel very confident in using it. They're also, of course, ahead in the series, so for them it's all good here. And when it comes to those matches or those fights at the shrines, if you suddenly up against two melee assassins that rotated through the map and you miss the rotation, you are dead meat.
Yeah, you're going to be in some serious amounts of trouble. Right now, there's just some lobby shuffling going on because we were, for a short amount of time, very proud members of Team Na'Vi. But we are now in our rightful observer slots, and we'll be heading into the Hero Select as soon as possible.
Yeah, so Dragonshire is, of course, a map where coordination and communication is everything. It's basically true for all of the Heroes of the Storm battlegrounds, since you need to make sure that you adjust to the objectives on the map, but especially on this map where you have to control two shrines before you can pick the Dragon Knight in the mid lane. You need to make sure that every single rotation is called out properly and that you always are in a better position on those shrine fights. The laning is also going to be quite interesting. You can see Leoric against Zagara up at the top lane, and then if Fnatic really wants to rotate between mid and bot lane, as we so often see, then their two melee assassins are going to be the crucial heroes in that particular playstyle.
Fnatic have been doing a very successful job of not letting Leoric go over to Na'Vi, who were kind of the pioneers of that huge top split push Leoric. Instead, they're going to be running it themselves.
And the game starts off. We have Dragonshire, our second map. It's the lead for Fnatic in this best-of-3 series at the WCA EU Pro Qualifier. And ladies and gentlemen, to the left side of the map, it is Na'Vi! Schwimpy is playing Inubarak for the team, JPL on Zagara. We see Eternal on Falstad, Splendor and Uther, and Alex the Pro G on the second tank, that's Johanna. But the lead in the series after the game on Haunted Mines. To the left side of the map, it is Fnatic! Double melee assassin, Wubion Kerrigan, Lol on Illidan, and Mena jump back into the support role is playing Rega. We have Kesel on Vala, and Breeze is playing Leoric. Illidan also already with the rotations here, different kind of them though. And is of course waiting for a victim, but we have the flying up at the top. Eternal is trying to soak experience here, and the first talents already with quite some interesting choices.
Yeah, we have the Corpse Feeders coming in from Zagara, so giving herself that extra pushing potential. JPL, though, not going for anything yet. His team is just waiting to see if anyone decided to push too aggressively. And Falstad with that seasoned marksman, so the extra auto-attack build he's going for.
Fnatic really likes to play melee heroes. They have a double assassin now, and they're running also Leoric, of course, as their solo tank, but a double warrior setup to the left side. Those two tanks, Inubarak and Leoric, are going to try and do their thing. And at the bot lane currently, it is the push that we've been talking about. At this point in the game, we are, of course, once again, we're actually having Rega again with that Colossal Totem as mentioned. So on level 16, there's a chance of seeing them go for the Earthgrasp Totem. Ah, the lockdown attempt against Alex, but of course, that Johanna just throwing out the Iron Skin with a quick trade.
Yeah, quite hard to gank a Johanna in the early game with anything less than 4 people.
Oftentimes, when you see Seasoned Marksman for Falstad, it is the build that is being run by Meteor Makers against double tanks, very successfully at that, by the way, in the later stage of the game with the Giant Killer on level 13 and, of course, on level 20 with Nexus Frenzy. You can do a lot of damage, but there's only one tank now on the side of Fnatic. It is the Auric, and the other 2 melee heroes are Kerrigan and Illidan.
Yeah, and one of those does have an ability that completely negates auto-attack damage for a couple seconds in the form of the Illidan. Infernal having to back up against the Illidan in this case, as he's able to outduel, but with a very nice storm, very nice Hammerang, able to deal some counter damage.
In comes Kerrigan, trying the stun, only hitting the Primal Grasp. But the Condemn of Alex, they rotate against Fnatic and are trying to get the kill in. Breeze with the Wraith Walk is moving away though.
Yeah, and you can see Na'Vi don't even try to kill him there, as they know Leoric is just too tanky. Infernal grabbing the top shrine, both in favor of Na'Vi for the moment, but with Breeze in the mid lane, that dragon ain't going anywhere.
One of the important things to notice here, once again, is that the team that wins this best-of-3 series, even if they lose in the grand final, they will come in second place and therefore win 6,000 euros. So there's a lot of money on the line already. You want to have that. And we are seeing in this case now, again, Hardened Bones. We will have the Lingering Apparition on level 7 as the talent of choice. As we're seeing Eternal up at the top lane, attack, he has charge up, and in comes the jump. Booby is trying to catch him, gets a lot of damage in. Lowell jumps in to finish the job, and Kerrigan gets out of there. Great first blood by Fnatic.
Both of them dropped super low here, but are able to back out. We actually saw Falstad realizing he couldn't get out as he was in Venom, didn't have Fountain up, just trying to drop as much damage onto Illidan as possible, but unfortunately the tower aggro went onto Kerrigan.
I really like that. It was a cool move that we saw at Falstad. He realized he would die either way, so he just tried to take somebody with him. Didn't work out for him, but still a good attempt by Eternal. Lowell now up at the top lane, soaking the experience. He knows that he's up against 2, and Falstad simply flew in and started to take that shrine. So a lot of pressure against Fnatic. Na'Vi is playing a strong early game here, despite that one death that they already have on their board.
Yeah, and it is only one death. They're pretty much even in terms of XP, just a tiny bit behind Fnatic. Kessler and Maynard just chilling in the bot lane, and Lowell will grab this shrine in the top lane to make sure the Dragon Knight cannot be channeled.
Breeze in the mid lane against Alex. Basically, both of them negating each other, taking down the waves, but the bot lane, that is where really most of the pushing power of Na'Vi is currently concentrated. Taking down the first tower and also focusing down, or about to focus down, in that gate.
Yeah, gate super low. Archer minions trying to finish it off, but it does live for a second there. It'll die to pretty much anything. You had one job, minion. Your job is literally to push the lane or die, and you chose the second one.
Lowell, of course, goes for the thrill of battle. It's what he likes to do, even if he goes for Metamorphosis. In this game, though, you could really think about going... Oh, nice lockdown! Gets that lockdown against Eternal again, and they jump in. Lowell going deep, jumping the gate. But the minions are being attacked, and Lowell jumps back out. The tower's already out of ammunition, and after the kill against Falstad, they now also get the kill against the structures.
Beautiful engage by Wubby there. Got the perfect angle to pull in Falstad there. Falstad has gone for the secret weapon on his level 7. Ufa with the cleanse, if only he'd been around when Wubby came in there, but he is still in the mid lane actually, as Johanna has moved up to top.
I'm still pretty curious to see if he goes for Metamorphosis or
Falstad at the top lane, flew in far too deep.
He's in trouble and he knows it, I guess. Whoopi is moving in. Lowell from the other side. Eternal! And goodbye. Oh, Lord, that was a close one. Using the Iron Skin there. Rhaegar, on the other hand, at the bot lane was taken out, but Schwimpy nearly dying here. Kessel has not too many hit points either, so he has to go back and well up, but his well is in cooldown, so he has to really think about being back once that somebody else takes over the lane to soak experience.
Wow, these teams just trading blow for blow at the moment. Fnatic still a little bit ahead in kills. JPL having to back up here as Fnatic will take control of the bottom shrine as Breeze moves in to put on some extra pressure.
Yeah, and now again, level 10 is soon gonna drop. It looks like Whoopi is trying for the Dragon Knight, but in comes Alex. We have Splendor with him now too. Maina for the heals. They're putting pressure on Johanna. There's the lockdown trade being used. Alex is low, but he gets away.
A lovely blind from Alex there, keeping himself alive just for the enough time to get away. And now both shrines in favor of Na'Vi, as they will be trying to push in at this mid lane as much as they can. But there's currently 2 people in the top lane. Infernal is having deja vu. Down he goes again to Illidan and Kerrigan.
As we said before, Falstad is going to have a very, very painful game. That's the reason why he didn't go for Gathering Power. First of all, he also went, of course, into an auto-attack build, but still, that's another reason here. He just knew from the start that he would die a bit too much. We have Metamorphosis taken for Illidan. Thrill of Battle is going to work especially well with an evasion shield once the level 13 talent has been taken by LoL. But for now, it's also Maelstrom. We have Rhaegar with the Ancestral Healing. A strafe on Vala over the Ring of Vengeance that was used in the last game at the March of the Black King.
And on the side of Na'Vi, we have the Web Blast, which could be the difference here, depending on who they land it on. The Devouring Maw, also, we've seen some incredible ones all week. Nice cleanse by Uther on Twimpy there to prevent being pulled in. Hinterland Blast for extra damage on the Falstad. The Divine Storm, this time on the side of Na'Vi, and the Blessed Shield from Johanna.
Against the double melee assassins, they want to go for the Divine Storm here and the extra stun. And if they have Blessed Shield and Divine Storm, that's a lot of lockdown against those two melee assassins when they start to jump in. It also means, though, that Falstad is kind of screwed in these fights.
Yep, he has to just run away, and that's all he's going to get away with. Nice Pro G. Pulling out here, does not have Iron Skin. Gets the protective shield from the Uther, though. Infernal coming in, the Moth holding back Kerrigan, and Central keeps her alive.
And Sasha keeps her alive for a second, but she gets focused down regardless. Zagara is dropping him while Axe approaching, rushing away. The Condemn is there. The gate preventing the worst. It's a trade. And we have also Web used in the backline. Kesel was locked down by the Web Blast from Anubarak. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and now Fnatic can now once again move to the bot lane, trying to capture the second Giant. Breeze is still fighting against Eternal. Could they maybe pick up that Dragonite? Looks like they got a chance, but at the bot lane there's a huge fight for the Shrine happening already.
Yeah, Shrimpy and Splendor going to be able to push back Kessel and Maynard for just a little bit here, but Fnatic are on level 12, halfway through it, so they have the potential of hitting their level 13 talents and then going for a Dragonite, trying to put the pressure on.
Eternal flying up to the top, of course trying to push Lowell back, but the bot lane is still in the hands of Na'Vi. No Dragonite just yet. We're 8 minutes into the game, we're on level 12, but no Dragonite in this match. Very close game thus far. 5 kills against 2, a slight lead for Fnatic in experience, and they're trying to get the talent a bit faster, and they will. That could mean Dragonite for them if they commit to the bot shrine.
Sprint on the Kerrigan, Burning Rage on Leoric. The Sixth Sense, very good choice here by the Illidan. Vala and Rhaegar yet to pick though.
Yeah, Vala and Rhaegar can both pick their talents. The Healing Surge is what you would expect on Rhaegar. For Vala, there's a few options that she has. In this case, it could also be, of course, the Spell Shield. If you are afraid that that Hinterland Blast is going to hit you, you might try and play a bit safer. But with Giant Killer, you dish out more damage against the two tanks, and that's exactly what Vala is getting here.
Maynard dealing a little bit of damage to Shrimpy with the help of Kessel. Breeze coming in as well, but he's out of range for his slow. So Shrimpy able to back up here, and Na'Vi keeping control of that bottom lane shrine. Falstad's currently the only person in top, so could attempt to go for this, but is going to back up as LoL returns.
It's still a very close match between the two of them, and now the level 13 talent came into play for Na'Vi. They are running a double Burning Rage on their two tanks, trying to dish out additional damage in these team fights. And we're seeing Mutalisk, of course the Giant Killer with the auto attack build on Falstad, and the control against the melee assassins with Uther, who besides his already taken Divine Storm is now going for the Shrink Ray.
Yeah, so just giving that extra protection against those melee assassins, reducing their damage as much as he can. Both teams just posturing at the moment. Kerrigan hovering around this top lane once again, looking for a potential Falstad kill, and both teams posturing around this siege camp.
Super intense game now. We have actually like 10 minutes into the match, no Dragonite taken. Illidan, look at Lowell. Oh my god, stealing the camp away or trying to. Shrimpy's going to come around the run. No, he's not.
He is looking for Kerrigan. He finds Kerrigan, but Lowell has already taken this camp, and Wubby using his adaptation to jump to his teammate, and Breeze finds Nubrak, but with the Burrow Charge, Shrimpy will escape.
Yeah, Shrimpy found a lot more than Kerrigan there, but he was able to escape. At the top lane, another push. Lowell is already there up at the front line, trying to go for the fort. Alex moves in. Lowell has to jump over the wall. He does, but the Condemn hits him anyways. Wubby is there, Maynard too, but at the bot line, it's another camp that is being taken by Fnatic currently. Or at least they were thinking about it, but those Siege Giants got leashed again and are at full HP.
Shrimpy trying to do a Breeze, but is going to lose this one. Has to knock up Breeze to try and get away. In comes Wubby. No Burrow Charge up for Shrimpy. He's backing away. And
Oh!
Yeah, doesn't make it over. He doesn't have enough health to fight the enemy. He doesn't have enough to survive the multi-shot, and Kerrigan just sprinting away after popping a heroic.
Oh, that hinterland blast not timed well enough. The Maw reveals them a second too late. No damage on them. We have all 5 heroes for Fnatic still in the game, and this is the time when they finally say, this is our Dragon Knight. You can do whatever you want, but this is ours. They move into the mid lane. Johanna is already there, trying to go for a shield clear. JPL in position, but Breeze takes the Dragon Knight, moves into the mid lane, and now they're trying to drop additional structures and hit that level 16 talent.
Fnatic putting on so much pressure here. Falstad in the top lane just soaking up to try and get Na'Vi back into this. Lol, though, is looking to just take him down and to take down maybe this top fort.
We have in the mid lane still Breeze, and it's looking good for Fnatic currently. They're playing well here. They're already ahead in the best of 3 series with 1-0. And these guys haven't even played together in the team house. They're going to move to the team house together in Poland after this tournament, where they're trying to improve, where they're trying to smooth out all of the edges. But they're doing very well here already. Na'Vi played such a great tournament, but at this point they are starting to fall a bit behind. They need to make an effort to come back into this. Eternal is already pressure, but Splendor moves in, doesn't get the stun in, though Lowell jumps back a bit too fast.
Now Wobby, Lowell and Mayna will take down this fort in the top lane. Anthropology arriving not in time, and that is 1 fort, about to possibly be 2 forts once Breeze moves in here. He doesn't have enough health or duration to take it down, but he can at least start on it, absorb some of the ammo from it, and then his team can move in to take it after the next fight.
Breeze is moving back here, gets attacked, but Wraith walks out of there. Level 16, and Nubarak actually taken out. He was trying to web blast at the bot lane, but now it's a 5-man push once again. A 4-man push actually, as Leoric says, like, I got this in the mid lane, moves up, and we have now level 16 versus 16, but only 4 heroes alive for Na'Vi, which means that Fnatic has a chance to take more camps on the map or even drop a fort.
Falstad taking the hammer time talent here, giving him that mini stun that may make the difference here to try and lock down those Melee Sands at least for a second to prevent them with the amazing amount of consistent damage they're going for, and of course the double imposing presence. Such
an important talent to take now for those 2 tanks, and Nubarak and Johanna really relying on it. They need the imposing presence. It's not only that Illidan, it's that Harrigan, it's that Vala with a giant kill on level 13. You need to do something against it, and imposing presence is the correct answer here. That will make it a lot harder for Fnatic to get these kills against the Warriors in the next team fights. Maybe exactly what Na'Vi needed to come back into this game.
It's going to be hard for Na'Vi, though. They're actually rolling in here as a big group looking for Kerrigan, but they're not able to lock her down. They're now just hiding in the bush. Alex Proti moving out. Kerrigan has already moved back, but now Fnatic all closing in on this position. They may look for a bit of an engagement themselves.
Level 16 versus level 16. Can they jump in? They're trying to, and they lock down at least for a second. Johanna, Eternal is on Wooby, using sprint, moving back. Web Blast hits the healer. Leoric is in trouble, but in comes once again Rhaegar, gets more by Zagara.
And down goes Breeze in the backline, hit by the hinterland. Axe Proti dropping low, he gets taken down. Ancestral does save Wooby. Illidan is on Splendor, trying to take him down, and he does, dashes away. Can Falstad finish him off? He will chase him down, but the heal from Mayna keeps him alive.
Lowell jumping from the left to the right to the left, always trying to dodge the Duke. Mayna got away in the last second before he died, and Lowell, he got no hit points whatsoever, but was avoiding Falstad. Mayna gets the heals in, and the trade is a 1-4-2. Only Leoric died, and again we see the Dragon Knight on the map, and the shrines are active as Fnatic moves over to the top, to the bot, using Kerrigan in the mid lane here, trying of course to capture another Dragon Knight, and with 2 heroes down for Na'Vi, who's going to stop them?
Wobby is just going to take this Dragon Knight. The Hammerang not landing in time. It will slow the Dragon Knight for a second, but it does not care. Wading into the mid lane with Breeze here, and they're going to be able to take down this fort, the second of the game for Fnatic, and the bottom one doesn't have that much protection either. Kessel, though, being chased here.
Run, Forrest, run! Kessel's trying to get away, Strafe being used, tries to zone them out here, does a lot of damage.
The turn! Inferno is going to fly to Freedom Blast next to his healer, but it's just going to be.
He's flying right next to Uther, and Uther completely ignoring him, saying like, nobody forget it, go back to well and heal up there. We have Booby in the mid lane, still with the damage, and there's that level 20 talent. It's a 2-level lead that Fnatic has. 2 levels that they are ahead, and we see a double bolt of the storm. We have the rewind for the heals. Leoric even with a hardened shield that drop against the fort at the bot lane. Fnatic is in full control of this game.
And with that control, they managed to take the bottom fort as well. That is all 3 forts of Na'Vi down. Wobby continuing to push the mid lane. whereas the rest of Fnatic are chilling in the bot lane, just continuing to put the pressure on Breeze, having to Wraith walk away as he was taking a bit of damage from Falstad.
One of the things, though, that we all know is that once you hit level 20, this is the last talent that you get. There's no more talent leads for you. So if Na'Vi is able to soak this one level of experience without losing a keep, they will still be on eye level with Fnatic. So as well as Fnatic played already, they still have to make these important moves. They still have to use the time window they have now to take down a keep. If they don't, then once Na'Vi hits level 20, it's going to be an even fight once again.
Yeah, and we can see them keeping the pressure onto Na'Vi at this point, grabbing as many of them of Na'Vi's mercenary camps as possible. If any of them are left unattended, they may join them to attempt to take down one of those keeps, like you said. But for now, just backing up, they know they can't dive against Na'Vi. They can win a fight against them if they're in a neutral or beneficial area.
It looks like Fnatic is currently waiting for the next Dragon Knight. The problem for Na'Vi is really locking down those melee assassins. They have a lot of stuns, but every single time they are trying to focus on Illidan, Kerrigan is locking them down. Illidan just barely survives, and that's a big issue for them. Lowell jumping away now once again. He applies some pressure, and he creates space for the team. He's just out there, and he basically just like tells Na'Vi, all right, you sit in your base, you wait, you soak those lanes, and we get the rest of the map. We're going to take that Bruiser camp, we're going to take that additional Siege Giant camp, and then you can come out and play once that you hit level 20. But up to that point, it's our map.
Yeah, he has Metamorphosis of cooldown. He knows he can get away if it gets way too dicey with that teleport. So he was able to stay very far forward there and keep that pressure on. Kerrigan hovering by this Bruiser camp. It has been defeated, but not captured yet. So Fnatic waiting for the shrines to spawn before they take it. And there you go, perfect. So they now have pressure in this bot lane. However, it's going to be nullified by the fact that Na'Vi are, well, already here and are just going to take down everything.
And they're level 20. Na'Vi has 20. Falstad on 20. That's where his build gets super, super scary. Currently looking at Falstad, he is at 31 season marksman stat. Nothing to write home about yet. It's not like one of those letters where you're going to write your mom that you're really proud that he reached 31 stacks today. When he's at 50, then we can talk about it. But it's already quite some extra damage that he can bring to the table here, and it's going to be important. And once you have that talent with a 20% attack range and speed, and he can dish out so much damage there. Uther, of course, going to take his redemption a bit later. He could take it when he dies. He doesn't have to take it now. But we also have a Storm Shield. So now it's a fight on even levels again. Fnatic does not have that advantage anymore. Yes, they are a level ahead, but that's only a slight stat advantage.
Lowell finds JPL. JPL does have Bolt, didn't have to use it there. So he is still ready for when the next fight does happen. And we can see a sneaky Breeze heading to the bot lane, trying to grab that shrine, but Na'Vi have spotted him and they're going to try and lock him down. There's the Wraith walk, but with that extra duration, he is already back with his team.
Yeah, he's back with the team, joined up with them. Alex is still out there. That was a quick drain home, but I didn't do anything. Top lane is still being pushed, of course. We're seeing a camp, and all of those two towers are out of ammunition, so that is a bit of a problem for Na'Vi. They have to rotate over there. They're trying to move in against the Fnatic now. Fnatic in possession. They're jumping in and going straight for the fight.
And we're seeing Kerrigan doing a lot of damage. Webbuster's been used. The more lands on no one. In comes Illidan. Very nice Metamorphosis this time. But Kerrigan dropping low is taken down. Lol gets Ancestral, trying to take down JPL, and he does. It's 1-4 at the moment. The fight continuing. Infernal's to the full health with the back. Breeze coming into behind him though. Trying to lock him down. Nice power roll, but Maina takes him down.
They go for Falstad. They take him down. Splendor's in trouble. He's dying. He has redemption still up. But 4 heroes are alive for Fnatic. 2 are down on the side of Na'Vi. 22 versus 20. And Fnatic, they move down to the bot lane. They are trying to steal the shrine away, but a rotation from Johanna up to the top. Alex with a risky play. He knows that he needs to buy some time for his team, but Breeze is there. He's just a tiny bit too late. Has to chase Alex away first before they can take the shrine, and Lowell is trying to help out.
Looks like they may in fact get the kill, and actually pops his Storm Shield to keep him alive and the blind, but Kessel will grab the Dragon Knight while this is going on. It's a 20-minute Dragon Knight. That's going to be 1,000 damage per hit on any building. Alex will go down as well, so it's only Uther and a Nubrak to defend.
Fnatic is in the lead in the series. They need only one more map win, and they have maybe everything that they need here. Zagara back in 8 seconds. Kerrigan on just a small cooldown. There she is back in the game. She needs to cross the map though, but Fnatic, they want to end it all. They go for the call. Lowell is already on it. The Dragon Knight with so much damage right now. Zagara is back to business. trying to do whatever she can. Metamorphosis is already being used by Low. The ancestral healing coming through. They drop the shield. They go for God, trying to take it down.
It does get taken down, though. The Dragon Knight still at 2/3 health, though. 1,000 damage per hit. Splinter trying to stop Breeze. Hinterland Blast. It's not going to be enough. And GG! Fnatic take the series.
At 2-0 for Fnatic, they take the game and they defeat Na'Vi. They are in the grand final. They are at least second place here at the WCA Europe. That's 6,000 euros already and a shot to go to China.
And that is minimum. They have just done so much with this one win. However, for Na'Vi, it is not over yet. They still do have one more chance.
Great play here by Fnatic. Yesterday, when we had the fun game between the two teams, as the seedings were not important anymore, they lost that series. But today, when it mattered, they came in and fought it. Again, that melee composition for them. Double melee assassin plus Leoric as the solo tank. It worked so well for them. They got the momentum. A few chances that Na'Vi had to turn around, and they played well. They fought tooth and nail, but Fnatic was just a tiny bit better.
Yeah, Fnatic with some amazing picks throughout this series. The ETC coming out in the first game. Beautiful mosh pits every single time. And then, like you said, the double melee assassin comp that they just bring in just when they need it every single time. Fantastic play.
Especially in the first game, Breeze twice with that mosh pit when everybody was just running away. Na'Vi already knew we're not going to win this fight. They're trying to get away, but there's always Breeze. There's the cow, jumps in, uses the mosh pit, and they lose 2 more heroes. Then, in this game, the 2 melee assassins just wreaking havoc the entire time. Wooby jumping in on his Kerrigan, Lowell always at his side, the tag team, and they just destroyed that backline. JBL was only running, and let's not even talk about Falstad. I felt really sorry for him there. I mean, no matter what he was trying to do, they were always on him, and like, you can't just survive that. It just doesn't work.
Falstad got focused very, very hard in the early game. It was not a fun game for him. But just throughout the entire game, Kerrigan as well, despite the fact she was always the first one in, she almost survived every single fight, because even when she overextended, it was instant sprint back up, and then not just sprint back up, it was turn around and go straight back in when she found Falstad.
The fight at the bot lane as well, when Mena just barely got away on Rhaegar. Lowell suddenly about to die, Jukes from the left to the right and back to the right, and all of a sudden we're having Rhaegar back to business saying, here's your heal, and both of them survive. Great plays there by them. And guys, I really want to know what the players have to say about this. This must feel so good right now. They reached the grand final. They are one best-of-3 win away from qualifying for the final in China. So let's give it up to Clutch and Lowell and hear what the two of them have to say.
Thank you, gentlemen. Fnatic, you did it. You're moving on to the finals tomorrow. A very big victory against Na'Vi and a very entertaining match. The crowd loved it. Let's talk about game 1. ETC, a character we don't see chosen that many times when it comes to the professional side of Heroes of the Storm in the meta right now. Why did you choose this character, and what was it about this character that worked so well for your team?
It just worked really well for us. Like, we didn't plan on picking it at all. It just, their draft was horribly weak against it. And well, with how the picks went, they took the tanks we wanted, but they ended up with like a really, really, well, CCable comp. Breeze like weighted his mosh pits perfectly every time except one, I think. So yeah, they couldn't win. Like, no matter how well they played, they couldn't win against that.
You had control of the board in game 2. What was going well for your team? Because there's so many great team fights, and also the utilization of the Dragon Knight to really push into their base and to get that last kill. Was that the plan the whole time, to get control of the Dragon Knight, or was it more happenstance that it happened at the end?
At some point during the game, we started getting ahead, like a level ahead. From there, the only plan was to keep pushing that level advantage. At some point, we got 2 levels ahead, and from there on, we knew unless we throw, it's won. So we just wanted to get to 20. Even at 20, we didn't force anything because there was no point. I wanted to force something, but Ubi wanted to wait the Dragon Knight. He was right. We just waited for it. We had better team fight at that level, and yeah, like that worked for us.
Now, this is a relatively new roster for Fnatic, but how significant is this victory over Na'Vi, and also knowing that you're going into the finals tomorrow?
It's huge. Like, we're 1 series away from China, and we're 1 series away from our 2 boys being able to, you know, talk smack to the others. So, yeah.
All right, congratulations again to Fnatic. Let's hear it for Fnatic, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the finals tomorrow, as Gamescom will continue tomorrow as well. Thanks again, Lowell. That does it for our first series for Heroes of the Storm. We'll have 1 more series for the lower bracket after we take a quick break. Stay tuned.